Many swear the 90s was the best decade for movies. That comes down to opinion, but what I can say is the 90s had many anti-Arab depictions. This is my series Casual Arab Slander, where I go through movies and find quick jabs at Arabs that rarely have anything to do with the plot. They're thrown in to remind the world who the real bad guys are. Arabs. I'm cataloging my findings into a public Google Sheets database. Think of it as a digital continuation of Real Bad Arabs with video clips. Put away your pogs, cause we have some Arabs to look at in movies from the 90s. Father of the Bride Part 2, 1995. Steve Martin and Diane Keaton star in this classic family comedy. I grew up with two sisters and they loved watching this movie, sometimes on repeat for weeks. I didn't remember that there were Arabs in it, because really there isn't. It's an offensive caricature. Let me show you. Steve Martin's character George wants to sell his house. The realtor shows up with a couple named Mr. and Mrs. Habib. Fun fact, Habib is the name of one of my cousins. The actor on the right is Lori Allen. She's famous for voicing the boss in Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. The actor on the left is well-known comedy actor Eugene Levy. FYI, he's been associated with Zionist organizations, but hasn't publicly stated he is one. He strangely speaks in a Russian/Jewish accent. The most inauthentic part is the way he pronounces house.
We need house a week from Wednesday, and my wife wants flour dishes in kitchen.
Turning the h sound into a kh is a characteristic of Hebrew. Arabic doesn't do this. An example would be hummus, a world-known Arab dish. In Arabic, it's hummus. In Hebrew, it's hummus. The wife starts talking in a gibberish language, but he cuts her off by yelling at her. This is pushing a handful of Orientalist stereotypes. Arabs control women, Arabs are quick to anger, and Arab women are submissive. When Mr. Habib takes the key from George, he tosses his cigarette on the ground. 3 layers of negativity are happening here. Arabs are dirty and don't care about littering, they don't respect their own house or community, and the last one is a little more subliminal. The neighborhood is going to be worse because Arabs are going to live there. Mr. Habib says he's going to demolish the house he just bought from George and build 2 in its place. George gets emotional and starts telling him how he built it with his bare hands. Mr. Habib's response? Zero care. They're making it out to be that Arabs are cold. He says he's still gonna demolish the house. George offers him money. Mr. Habib only accepts it once he's offered $100,000 in cash. This is what I'm getting from this. Arabs don't care about emotions or memories. We only care about the dollar figures. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought I was watching a live action movie, not a cartoon. When this movie came out, Dr. Jack Shaheen, author of Real Bad Arabs, wrote an in-depth article about why this movie is so offensive to Arabs. I'll link it in the description if you want to read more. 3 Ninjas, 1992. A lighthearted kids movie for the whole family. But what's a family film without bashing Arabs? When I was younger, I had a friend who absolutely loved watching this movie. There's an FBI sting operation scene. A bad guy is meeting with an oil-rich Arab. Oh my goodness. What in the living zatar am I looking at? It's a mockery. Plain and simple. This looks nothing like a qitra. It's likely a tablecloth. Then for the aqal, the cord that holds it down, it's a piece of rope. I'm not kidding, it's literally a piece of rope. A real aqal is made of goat or camel fur, but modern ones are made of synthetic materials. And of course, the one thing non-Arabs always forget, the kahfiyya. They hold on this guy for a while so you have time to laugh. They knew they were making him look as stupid as possible. But that's not the craziest part. The bad guy he's meeting up with doesn't even notice. So either they're so stupid they don't know what an actual Arab looks like, or they think the audience is so dumb that they're not going to notice how inauthentic this is. The bad guys think it's legit. It's all kinds of ridiculous. This fake Arab starts talking and does a butchered Russian accent.
It is a pleasure to do business with you, Mr. Schneider.
This is a theme. Fake Arabs are often given Russian accents. I don't know why this trope even exists, but it does. Let me be fair here. This is a kids movie appropriating ninja culture for family laughs. It's not a big deal, but it's still hurtful. Spawn, 1997. One of the edgiest comics of the 90s makes its theatrical debut, and it turns out to be a complete turd. I used to love Spawn when I was younger, but even I knew this movie was bad, and I was 8 years old when it came out. We see a man walk out of a plane and do a goofy wave. This already feels off. Not because of the wave, but because of what he's wearing. Later in the movie, they say he's supposed to be the leader of an Algerian revolutionary front. He's wearing a traditional Algerian burnous, but his headdress looks off. But I can't say for certain if this is right or wrong. If you're Algerian and think this is authentic, let us know in the comments. It still feels wrong because, as far as I know, Algerian leaders wear suits, and this goes all the way back to the 1950s. It feels like they put him in these clothes to make sure people know he's different, he's an Arab, he's a foreigner, he's somebody who dresses different to the Westerners. If they put him in a suit, people wouldn't have gotten that. So they purposefully dress him like this. Even though Algerians wear suits and he's traveling internationally, it makes sense he would wear a suit. It's hilarious. A newspaper reads, terrorists blow up British airline. So they're blaming it on terrorists. And we all know what that means in Western media. Arabs. Studies on media representation indicate that American media and entertainment have historically and consistently linked the term terrorist to Arabs and Muslims, often creating a stereotype that equates these groups with violence, danger, and anti-American sentiment. There's an event scene and we get oil-rich Arabs. This looks comedic. The qitra is too long and is likely a piece of curtain. The agal is way too far down on his head, which means he isn't wearing a kahfiya. The agal is weird too. A real gold and black one called agal maqsib is thicker. This one's too thin and it doesn't look right. The last part about the headdress is Arab stylized the front of the qitra, and this one is just thrown on and is sloppy. He's wearing a brown bisht, which is worn in the Arab world, but typically you wear the black one for formal events. The brown one is more casual. He should be wearing a black one because it's a fancy event. Finally, he's wearing a golden necklace. Men of the Arabian Peninsula or Gulf countries don't wear necklaces. The idiotic filmmakers thought, oh, he's rich, so throw some jewelry on him. The man in the background here has all the same problems as the last guy. First, he's wearing a shmagh with tassels on it. Arabian Peninsula and Gulf Arabs don't wear shmaghs with tassels. That's more of a Levantine Arab region thing. Second, his agal has a long black cord hanging down from it. That style is typical of Qataris and Emiratis, and it doesn't look authentic anyways. It's all mixed up. This same guy hilariously teleports behind Martin Sheen in the B shots. He's standing next to another quote-unquote Arab, and even though the shot is blurry because of the lens bokeh, it still looks off. Plus, we can see the guy with a shmagh from the front and notice he doesn't style the front of it. It's probably the first time the guy has ever worn one in his life. The Spawn comic is dark and hardcore, but this movie comes off more as a comedy. It's insulting to Spawn fans, and it's insulting to Arabs too. Point of No Return, 1993. This movie is a recreation of the massively popular La Femme Nikita from 1990. But it didn't do well because it was an almost shot-for-shot copy, but worse. What we care about is, why does this version decide to make the bad guys Arab? This wasn't in the original movie. Maggie is assigned to take out the richest man in the world who turns out to be an Arab. She surprises him and says she wants him to go to his computer and bring up the nuclear program. Of course, because all wealthy Arabs secretly have plans to get nukes. At least that's what American movies constantly push. Meanwhile, America has over 5,000 of them. The actor playing the Arab is Richard Romanus. He was born in America but has Lebanese ethnicity. The character's name is Fahad. Fahad says, "You think Arabs should be the only people on the planet to have this technology?" Great point. Ideally, no countries should own something destructive as nuclear weapons, but it's a scary double standard that Western countries are the only ones who should have them. This is the lie. The Westerners are the ones who are civil, unlike Arabs who are barbaric. We can't trust them to have nuclear weapons. Fahad is trying to reason with Maggie. He says,
"Do you think you can keep 800 million people in the 14th century forever?"
Awesome burn. Dr. Jack Shaheen, author of Real Bad Arabs, suggests this implies that all Arabs are Muslims. Fahad says something in Arabic. He yells for one of his guards and says, "Imshi! Imshi!" But why is he saying imshi? Imshi technically means walk, but it's also commonly used to say go. So he's saying go, go. Weird. A better word would be ta'al. Ta'al means come. Let me explain it like this. Imagine you're calling for help and you say out loud, go, go. That's what he's doing here, and it doesn't make any sense. You would want to yell help or come. This American adaptation adds Arabs because they're the real bad guys of the West. It parrots tired Orientalist stereotypes and uses the wrong Arab expressions. Flat out, it just sucks. Sabrina, 1995. Ah, the universal romantic love story between a young woman and a silver fox 3 times her age. This is a classic that has Harrison Ford as the heartthrob. I've known many women who love this movie, but the scenes with the so-called Arabs have always made me cringe. The family is hosting a lavish party. Linus, the name of Harrison Ford's character, is entertaining 2 wealthy Arabs, and it's all kinds of wrong. Their agals are too far down on their heads. That means they're not wearing the kafiyah. The qitras aren't authentic, and I'm pretty sure they're just tablecloths. And they're supposedly rich, but it's thrown on like a sloppy Joe. The colors of their agals are also just strange. All of this is offensive. Sabrina and Linus go to a Moroccan restaurant. It's trying to be authentic because it has them sitting on the ground to eat. We sit and eat on the ground at my family's zwara. A zwara is the weekly gathering of your extended family in Kuwait. If you're Moroccan, let us know if you sit on the ground to eat too. Then we can all learn if this is legit or just something made up for a movie. Sabrina says Moroccan food was her favorite when she was living in France. Hey, a positive thing about Arab food. Awesome. But there's problems with this scene. The waiter is wearing a fez. The fez is a crimson colored hat commonly worn in Arab countries and the African continent. That's right. But the style is wrong. He's wearing a tall fez. That's worn by Egyptians. Moroccans wear a shorter fez. Why am I guessing that all of this is supposed to be Moroccan? Because the waiter brings out a clay pot called a tagine. It's pronounced tagine in Arabic. It's a well-known Maghrebi dish. The confusion continues with the way they eat. Sabrina gets a wooden spoon and serves the food into bowls. Huh? You're supposed to eat directly from the tagine. Linus goes for silverware. Sabrina says it's so much better if you eat it with your hands. So he goes for the food by raw dogging it with his fingers. Habibi, there's bread right there on the table. You're supposed to use the bread to scoop up the food. So I'm thinking, okay, he doesn't know, it's understandable. Sabrina's gonna show him how to do it right. After all, it's her favorite food and she's eaten it lots of times. Nope. She does the same exact thing. She ignores the bread and goes straight into it with her fingers too. I get it. It's Americanized. But it's confusing. She's trying to show him the world she loves and comments he should be authentic by eating it with his hands, but then ignores that you're supposed to eat it with bread? Did they purposefully make them ignore the bread to show that Arab style eating is with your hands? They're different. They're dirty. I think going that far would be a stretch. Sabrina is an interesting romantic comedy with some Arab mix-ups thrown in. Why? I mean, according to the filmmakers, they probably thought, why not? 5 movies from the 1990s. Some of these depictions are openly harmful. Others are the product of ignorance. But all of them shape the way people see an entire group of human beings. I've linked the Casual Arab Slander public Google sheet in the description. Check it out if you want to see more examples like the ones in this video. My goal isn't censorship of old movies, to assign blame, or to fan the flames of hate. It's to recognize these portrayals for what they are, understand the impact they have, and approach one another with more empathy. We become better people when we take the time to learn about each other and question the stereotypes we've inherited. When we treat one another with dignity and understanding, we help build a society where everyone has the chance to flourish.